Hey guys, Ryan here, and today I'm going to bring you my video and thoughts on Update 6.0. Now, turns out Wargaming are actually doing small patches and fixes pretty much since the day after the update, so with them already fixing stuff, I suppose I might as well do my thoughts video as quick as possible. And I was thinking about how I'm going to do this, and I just thought probably the easiest way to do my thoughts video about everything is probably just to do it live. So I'm here at the starter menu, I'll press X, and I'll enter it, and I'll talk through things. Now, I might forget to mention some things. There's probably some things I don't even realise. I don't know what they're fixing, because they don't put that on the actual World Console website, but apparently, people have been saying spotting's going to get fixed, and the HUD's going to get fixed, and the UI and all that. I have no idea where they saw that. It must be on the forums or something. But I don't have access to information, because I don't know if it is on the forums or not. I don't really look at the forums. So I'm just going to go with what I've seen and what I know is happening. Here's the meme itself, the game is playable. Phrase that everyone's been memeing. And I want to point something out. I'm actually already starting to get used to this game. However, there's a difference between getting used to it and liking it. I still want things to change. Which, as I said, the reason I was holding off for a few days is everyone got their pitchforks out. Or most people got their pitchforks out. And I hold great respect for the people who did the videos about their thoughts on it while maintaining their composure and decency. Screaming is not going to help fix the game, or really encourage wargaming to fix the game. In my opinion, anyway, I much prefer the more calm approach. So here's a little splash screen, multiplayer custom game mode. The custom game thing means absolutely nothing to me, I don't do that. And here we are, first thing in the garage. Now, let me just tell you that, although I've got a bit used to it, when I first came here on the Tuesday and logged into the game, I had no idea what the fuck was happening. So, basically, first thing I did was look through the starter screen and my tanks. And you see on the right hand side, you've now got the stats of the vehicle, ammo, equipment, consumables, camouflage, etc, etc. On the left, see your challenges. On the bottom left, just put the vehicles. And I'll point this out, because there are some good things about this update. I'm going to start with that. First up, boosters. Being able to press L3 to get to your boosters and having the separate categories, love it. Much better than before where you had to go into the seasons to do it. Small plus for wargaming. The other thing I'm going to talk about first is, because it was the kind of thing I first looked at, equipment and crew. Now, let's get one thing out the way. The commander system on this is a ball ache. Having, like, no nation to be able to swap for gold and having a set silver cost only 9,000 to switch between tanks, all great and does make it easier. The actual implementation of the system, so you go over to commanders, and you have all these commanders in their tanks. You see I've got a load of crews with crew skills. I've got a bunch without the crew skills actually selected, and that's because when I first came on, it was just a ball ache to do all the crews, so I ended up not actually doing all of them. I only did crews on certain tanks that I could play, just enough to let me get the game. So in fact, we'll look at the pattern. I've not played the pattern yet in the new update, mainly because me and Felix were playing last night. It's Saturday today. Me and Felix were playing last night. We did a game of TVP, and then a small update got done, so we got kicked off. And when we came back on, we went on the patterns, and the first game we were in, everything froze, the game froze, we couldn't dashboard, we could still speak to each other, and we ended up having to switch off our PS4. So, although the game broke on us, it was because of an update, so like, at least they're trying to make the game work. But anyways, I'm branching off topic. And before we get into this, just know, this whole video could be a big clusterfuck of me just talking nonsense, because I'm doing it all live, I don't have it scripted, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, I'm just going for it. So, you press square, and obviously you can't actually access the crew from here, which is quite annoying, like you were before in the old game. You press square, and you could go to the crew. You can't do that here. You press square, and you've got the loadout, the upgrades appearance over your module viewer, consumables, equipment, all that shit. What you got to do is you have to scroll across the commanders in the top left, and then you see your commanders, click on them, you do your skills, and to swap tanks, you go to the current assignment, click on it, and then you put it in whatever tank you want. But let's go to the actual crew skills, because they had an overhaul. Skills got made better, a lot of skills got removed. You can only have 9 crew skills now at max. So, of course, you've still got your regular ones, like Brothers in Arms. Well, Born Leaders is Brothers in Arms. Sixth Sense, Repairs and Track Mechanic. And they have done a bit better telling you the exact things that these skills do, but, there's a big but, there's a couple skills here that are a bit questionable. This one, Rapid Loading, and the increased accuracy thing. These are quite extensive, not just because all the skills being buffed. So, where is it? Hang on. They increased the camo, 55% on the camo and moving. 12% increased accuracy to turtle. So all these skills, the rapid reload thing, which you can couple with a gun rammer. All these made all vehicles. It's made really good vehicles even better, and it's actually made even some shit vehicles quite good. And the issue is, you think about an autoloader. An autoloader can't use a gun rammer, but now you could put this on it. So basically now all autoloaders can have essentially the effect of a gun rammer on. Which allowed some crazy reloads. For example, my Batchat 25T, before the update, had a 41-second reload. After the update, with all like this crew skill and everything, down to a 35-second reload. As just an example, there's other tanks that will get the bonus as well. And of all these crew skills and how powerful they make your tanks, I'm not even that upset with it. But my problem is that these crew skills can also obviously go on artillery. So now artillery are getting crazy reloads because you can put a gun rammer and this on there. And then you get the accuracy. And the equipment also got a buff. In fact, let's go have a look actually at equipment. Get off the commanders. Press square to customize. Up to equipment. So I made some changes here. Advanced loader, which is the gun rammer, still the same. Advanced optics is the coated optics. And I'm using improved ventilation on this tank. But for example, there's no more binoculars. So the only view range thing is just a set view range just all the time. And the only camo thing is just a camo that reduces your detectability. You don't have to stay still for this, it just is on. But you've got skills like the 20% accuracy one, which means you can get load of tanks to ridiculous accuracy. For example, I think my Conqueror, tier 9, is at 0.2 for accuracy. And now, swinging around about, we go from the bad thing with the super powerful equipment, which has actually made artillery more powerful, which is obviously a bad thing. Let me just say this. I don't know if it was accidental, just an unfortunate consequence of the improved crew skills. They didn't think about it for artillery and the effect it would have, or if it was intentional, but no one thought artillery was too weak and needed that much of a buff. Even though all vehicles are super powerful now, you can make some of the regular tanks super OP. I'm not even that upset about them. I don't care that the Ragnarok or the Draugen can get much improved accuracy and reload speed, and that like the Dreadnought can get improved accuracy and reload speed. The artillery is the thing that triggers me the most about all that, because my Conqueror GC, and I'm not joking here, must have at most a 3-second aim time, if not less. It still doesn't hit anything, it's really inaccurate for me. But the aim time on it is nuts. And that thing's got one of the worst aim times in the game, so I can't even begin to imagine what a T92, or the 261, or the Batchat artillery is like, or even other lower tier artillery. So that's my little problem with artillery sort of. But they could just fix that by, even if they want to keep the crew skill the same, there must be a way to just stop the rapid loading being used on artillery. They can already use a gun rammer, they don't need the rapid loading as well. And I don't think they need the accuracy one either. I know like the artillery players might complain about that, but a Conqueror GC with like less than 3-second aim time is just fucking ridiculous. One thing I want to mention, if you look at the right hand side of the screen at the stats, something I do agree with, another nice thing, is that now stats change depending on your equipment and crew skills. For example, you'll see Patton has 420 meters view range. Now it says 489.72. It's taken into account my crew skills and equipment to show me my exact view range, which I really like. Same with if you press square and go over to modules and go over to the gun, 0.28 accuracy, it improves the accuracy as well. To show things, and I'm assuming the rotation speed gets changed if you have the crew skills as well, etc, etc, and I really like that feature. However, some stats have been removed. For example, it tells you the rate of fire runs a minute, but doesn't give you the actual DPM, which I'd like to see. And with the engine, it doesn't tell you the horsepower per ton ratio, which is another stat I would like back in the garage. As well as terrain resistance. I would appreciate getting the terrain resistance back as well. So just a couple small things that Wargaming could do. But again, Wargaming have been putting small patches in. That's what I think we all need to understand. It's a big update. It's going to take them a bit of time to start implementing things. Because as I said, they have said they're going to change the HUD back somehow. But for in-game. But rather than that, let's just go to the commanders again. And I think the issue people have with it is just how much of a ball ache it is to find crews and switch them around. I reckon if we could go back to the system where I want to reach to my commander on the M48 pattern, press square, and I can go across to the crew up top here somewhere, and I can get access my crew via that. That, I think, would make a lot of people more happy, because it's back to a bit of familiarity. So you can still keep the same crew skills that Wargaming wanted to implement, but just give us, like, the ability to change the crews and to look at the crews, similar to the old way. I don't understand why we have this new commander system thing. However, for those of you out there, a little advice that you may already know, but you might not. Say I want to play my Super Pursing, and I want to put my pattern crew in it for crew training. I know they're maxed rank, but let's just imagine that they're not maxed rank. What you can do is, rather than on the Pursing, go to Commanders, and scroll all the way through until I find my pattern crew. What you can do is, go to the tank whose crew you want to use, and once you're hovering over the tank, then go over to Commanders, and it starts you on that tank's crew, and then you just click on it, go down, current assignment, and swap the crew there. So just a bit of advice, if you want to move a crew to a new tank, hover over the tank that has that crew first, and then scroll over to Commanders. One other thing, people have been going into battle without a commander in their tank, and that's because it doesn't make it clear enough. Now, I have noticed there is a white helmet underneath the tier of my tank. So you see where it says tier 10, underneath there's a white helmet. That shows there's a crew in there, or a commander. That's not the most obvious thing to see, and for the first few days, I was going into battles without knowing I didn't have a commander in, and a lot of people seem to have the same issue. Even if you didn't, like, make it more clear, so even if they just changed the colour of it to make it a bit more obvious, at the very least, make it so that if you go into a battle in a tank with no commander, have a warning pop up saying, are you sure you want to go into a battle with no commander? So just at least put something there, in case people accidentally try to go into one. What else we got? Tech trees. We'll do that. I am not a fan. By the way, I'm scared of that. That looks like an Abrams, which means modern tanks, considering this is World War II. Now, as to whether that's a potential thing for playing together, or if there'll be like 2 separate servers, i.e. like 2 separate games in one, I've no idea, but we'll ignore that until we get more information from Wargaming. Here's Tech Tree. You have to scroll up and go through it. I don't like this way of looking at it. I actually prefer the old one. And the thing is, these tech trees aren't even that bad. I had a load of free XP when the new update came in, that you got from Wargaming because of when they removed a bunch of like tanks and war stories. So I went to go buy the WZ-111 5AQL thing. So I went across to the premium tree. The mess is the premium tree. How on earth are you supposed to find a certain vehicle? You've absolutely no hope of finding it. I didn't realise all tanks were on discount either, but that's interesting to know. So, imagine I go all the way up, I'm looking for the QL. Oh, there's the VK. Oh, there's the 260. And the 279E or whatever. This is not ideal. Because as I said, if you want to find a certain tank, you just have to know where it is. This is really annoying and not ideal, if we're all honest. So, a bit of a tweak to the tech trees, so that they're a bit easier to navigate, would be great, if I'm honest. Now, go back. We can check now. I suppose we'll go to seasons. You'll actually see I've got the 2000 gold season. That is actually thanks to Curtis, my friend. He actually bought me it. As well as he bought me the British Steel pack with all the premium tanks. So very, very generous of him. And you can look forward to videos in the Chimera and other new vehicles. But again, that's irrelevant in this case. You go to the season pass. You can access the ops from there. As you can see, the tank miss ones. Not here, nice. There's also a little tab up top for mercenaries, which I have no idea what they're going to do with that. And then you've got all the challenges which you can go to. And as I said, you don't have to access your boosters from the op page, which is really nice. You do that just by pressing, when you're back in the garage, as stated earlier, L3 boosters. That is a good thing from Wargaming, fair play. The season thing, I don't really have much of an issue with that. Just shows it. Season challenges, that shows all the stuff, as stated before. Not too bad. Profile. They've even changed how the stats are working now, so you can see the owned tanks and the sold tanks. They actually have a damage per shot stat, which is a bit interesting. It's not the most ideal thing, but let's be honest, it's not the most important, nor is it, like, that important to gameplay. So I don't really mind that. The log is there, the key cards, which are the war chests. The log, if you want to look back at your games, is there. And that is that. Now, in regards to the UI in-game, when I first came on the game, and I saw the UI and I hated it, I went to go to the options to change it. Because in the old game, you could change certain stats of the UI, like what color the enemies were. And I can't remember the other stats you could do, but you could have a little bit of customization for it. On here, when you go to options, game, video, audio, there's not much in terms of affecting the UI. Because when we get into the game and I show you the UI, you'll see what I mean. And in fact, before I do this, I'll actually show you the UI. And I have a couple replays saved up of 6.0 gameplay. And I was thinking, after my talking segment live, I just show the replays and post-com about the UI. But I've just thought, because why not, I'll actually go into a live game and I'll speak about the UI in that. So, what I want to play, I'll actually use the filters here. You know what? I'm actually grinding something. I got the setter recently. By the way, also a bit of note, going to the tech tree. Wargaming did it so that if you had a tank and bought a tank, for example, let me go to it. They researched a whole bunch of tanks for me, basically. So I had the Batcha 12T ages ago. I then researched the Batcha 25T AP and sold the Batcha 12T. So I had no XP on it. When I came on the 6.0, because I'd bought that vehicle, and these two led on from the same vehicle that that was before it, Wargaming researched these two vehicles for me. So I could just buy them. I didn't have to research them. Same with the Russian line. If I go up, the T-54 leads to both the 62A and the 140. I already had the 62A, so I bought a tank after the T-54, so Wargaming researched the 140 for me. The British line, again, another example. I had the Cromwell, I already had the Accent 10, I'd researched past it. The setter also came from the Cromwell, so they researched it for me. So they researched a bunch of tanks for me, for free, which, I mean, I can't really complain about. So, for anyone out there who may not have realised yet, you may have some tanks researched that you may not realise that Wargame would have done for you. So you want to look for basically tanks that have multiple tanks they can offer. For example, this tank. If you bought either the M8 or the M3 Lee, the other one should be researched for you because it also leads from the same tank. So something to look out for. Now, they also redid how you upgrade a tank. So that rather than like buying packages, if I go to upgrades, you do it individually. Bear with me. So you go to modules, available guns, available turrets. I've got 2 turrets, available engine, got 2 engines, and now you upgrade things individually, which I don't really care about. If anything, it means that each upgrade's cheaper, and rather than having to get 40k to upgrade your tank to make it better, after 10k you can make it slightly better with the improved engine or the improved radio. So I think for grinding purposes it actually makes things a little bit easier. By the way, this tank is horrible. It's really slow for a light tank, it's not maneuverable, it has shite penetration on the standard gun, 115 standard, 144 premium, meaning this thing's premium pen is the same as the Cromwell's standard pen, and the Cromwell's obviously at tier 6. So that's not ideal, and I think this thing has decent camo. So what I'm going to do is, as we get into a game so I can explain the battle UI to you, I'm going to activate an XP boost. I'll use a ×2. Because I've been desperately trying to get the gun for this thing, because it's really painful playing it. One last thing before I get into the game. When the game first came out with Update 6.0, when you would go to customize, you go to Consumables, or you go to Ammo, go down, you see where it says triangle for toggle currency at the bottom, you change the currency, you see now over at the bottom right, it says Alt Resupply, 105 gold, 2000 silver a battle. Press toggle currency again, you just see the silver. That's what you want if you want to not pay gold. I kept doing that, but even though I was toggling the currency on my consumables and my ammo to be silver and not gold, they kept charging me gold for it. And actually, I lost about 810 gold through their system not working correctly. I don't actually have any gold consumables on here, but it's actually a different button. Instead of triangle to toggle the currency on the consumables, it's square, whereas for the ammo it's triangle. Don't know why, but that's quite confusing and lost people a bit of gold. So, we'll go into a game here. Don't expect much from me in this tank, by the way, with 115 standard pen, or at least expect me to fire a lot of premium rounds. And I'll explain what I want the UI, because it's not that I wanted the UI fully removed. I don't care if they want to try their new UI system, but give me the options to go into the option menu and customize my own UI layout. Whether it be the color for it, where certain things are, even if certain things are even on my screen, I would love that. Because as we get in here, you'll see bottom left my tank with the health bar and the actual tank itself. To the right hand side, you'll see whatever tank I'm aiming at. Their health, their tank, all that. That bit at the bottom showing the health in the tank, I don't care about that, nor do I want to see it. Give me the option in the menu to remove that. Because if I could remove that and have it to where the health bar and name of a tank appears above the tank, like in pre-6.0, that way I could be more aware of what I'm aiming at, how much health they have, and I'd like to move the mini-map from the top left to the bottom right, where that little screen is. So hang on, what we got here, tier 8 game. The ammo at the bottom is quite confusing. I'm honest as well, you just have to know which one's which. Hopefully you should know that like the first round standard, the second round's premium. Our light tank's going in here, I'm actually going to jump in with them. Look at how slow this tank is. Over to him. Now, so that's what I mean. I don't care about if they want to put their new UI update. I keep getting distracted, sorry about that. I don't care about the UI update, but just let me customize. So for me personally, it would be remove the right-hand side bit, so when I aim at him, remove that, let me put the map to the right, and let me change the colors of my friendly and enemy team. Also, in the bottom left where it shows your tank, when your modules get damaged like an ammo rack, it's really hard to see. I've seen lots of people actually play the game whilst ammo rack without repairing it because they couldn't actually tell that they were ammo racked. So at least let me change the colour of that as well, would be great. Gonna load APCR in case the IS shows back up because I only have 110 BAM. That is a defender, I don't want to mess with him, I'm gonna actually retreat. So, and to be fair, Wargaming have already said they're like changing the UI system. I don't know if they're giving us options or if they're just changing it back, I'm not sure, but as I said, even just the ability to choose for myself how I want my UI to be would be perfect. Also, this kind of modern look to it, I'm not ideal. If I could at least have the option as well to go back to the old one. So, like, Wargame could still keep this one in the game if they want, but again, it's all about giving me the option to have it. If Wargame just gave people the option for it, I think a lot of people would be a lot happier. What else was I gonna say? I'm actually not too sure. As I said, this is the nature of doing a video where I have no idea what the, what I'm doing. This is what happens when you do a video live. You just kind of make shit up as you go along. Gonna aim for this black print. But yes, I do have a couple, Ace Tanker replays and whatnot saved up for yous. This is gonna be a hard shot to hit. Oh, look at that for a shot. Overall, as I said, I'm getting used to the game, and I don't actually mind it too much. I just want Wargaming to give us a bit more choice. They just kind of forced this on us all, which is a big change for a lot of people. And a lot of people said they're going to quit. It's too much for them. Too different, too soon. So, honestly, if they want to keep the new maps, they want to keep the new layout of equipment, I think the UI is the most, what's the word? Is the most, I don't think I can think of the word of it. It's the most, daunting thing for a lot of the older players. I don't mean like old as in age, I mean old as been playing for longer. So overall, I'm not too upset with the update because I had an expectation that Wargaming would start changing things, which they seem to be doing. All we need to do was be a bit more calm in our response for some people, and just calmly tell Wargaming what we think and that we'd like a bit more choice in how things were. Because then I think you get the best of both worlds. Wargaming get to keep their brand new update with the new looks and everything, and we get to choose if we want to see it or not. Because when it comes to visual things, we should be able to change that. I can't actually can him. Go for the tracks. Load standard rounds. Keep him tracked. So overall, that's my thoughts on the UI system. Although I don't like it, like, that shouldn't be an issue for for any of us. Wargaming could quite simply fix that just by giving us the choice if we want this one or the old one, or just let us, like, remove certain parts of it. The equipment as well, I'll talk about when we get back in, because I forgot to mention, now that we've got reusable consumables, there's a decent bit to talk about in regards to that. So, after this game, I'll go have a quick look at that, a brief mention, and then I'll probably end the video there, and if I think about what else that I forgot to mention, or if you guys put in the comments out that I forgot to mention, I'll let yous know. Not a very good game, but I had a booster active and this tank's shite, so I'll take it. Ooh, something else. So this end screen bit confused the fuck out of me when I first saw it. I ended up looking at it for about 15 seconds, not realizing I had to press X to skip. Not a fan of this, if I'm honest. At the same time, it does show you how much free XP and silver, like free XP you earn per game, which is quite nice. It says rank commander XP, no commander equipped. Did I just go into a battle with no commander, or what? But either way, you see how much free XP you got, which I must have got from a season. There's no way you get that much free XP in a single game. So that must be a season reward. Let me just check. Well, there you go. You guys were all probably screaming at me. I just did the thing I mentioned earlier. I just went into a game without a commander equipped. It's not obvious enough, in my opinion. Like, maybe I'm just being stupid, but if I go into a game without a commander, when I press X on it, it's a pop-up saying, you don't have a commander in this tank, are you sure you want to go into battle? So, that just kind of proved my point perfectly. Last thing I'll say is, so the consumables, you will see that I've got the standard ones on. They are not reusable, but the premium ones are. And in fact, the premium food consumable is passive, but you can activate it to give yourself a better boost. But what I want to mention is, I don't mind the reusable consumables, because although the premium ones are reusable and the standard ones aren't, they have buffed the standard ones to basically do what the big ones do. So you see, the standard repair kit instantly repairs all modules, like what a premium repair kit used to do before, it's just not reusable. Which is fine, I think. That's perfectly okay. That seems fairly balanced. So, like, whether you use the premium one or not, you still get a pretty good boost and use for it. So, I don't mind the reusable consumables that much. Don't really bother me. There was an issue where I tried to use my repair kit yesterday. Didn't work. Some people are having that issue. Again, it is quite annoying, but I'm sure Wargaming are going to fix it. So, those are my general thoughts. Overall, I'm kind of getting used to the game. As it is, although I don't mean I want it to stay as it is. And there's a lot that Wargaming could do, and I'm sure that they are doing. And all I think they should do is give us a bit more choice on specifically the UI in-game. It made a lot of people uncomfortable. Give us a chance to put that back to the old one. The garage, I'm not too fussed about. I quite like the fact we can see the improved stats now. The commander system definitely needs a rehaul, I think. Even if you just made it a bit easier to scroll through them. Like, as I said, before, when you press square on a tank, you go across to the crew and you'd find it. Even that would probably help quite a bit. Letting us see if we've got a commander in the tank before we go into battle. And the tech trees could do with a bit of a rework. Because, let's be honest, scrolling through like this, quite annoying. Especially Wargaming. The premium tech tree, in particular, needs a rework. Because how the fuck you're ever supposed to find something you want is beyond me. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I may have forgotten to talk about something in the game. Please feel free to let me know if I have. As I said, I may have repeated myself a few times. Such is the problem of me doing a live recording and not scripting anything. And just saying what I want as I'm doing it. But hopefully that means that my thoughts are a bit more, what's the word? Truthful. And actually, like, hopefully that means my thoughts are actually what I mean. I'm not just making shit up if I'm just going along. Or saying shit as I'm going along. So, let me know what you guys think. So again, anything I forgot to mention, put it in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on the commander system, the tech trees, the actual game UI. Do you just want the game to go back to the old way, or like me, as long as they just give you the choice to have the old battle UI, so you can choose between which one. Like, I'd be happy with that. I think that's a fair thing for them to do. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.